Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about the nature of traditional karate. Many people criticise clubs which they consider not to be traditional enough. It's not hard enough, or it's not old school enough, or the dojo's too polished, or they charge for their services, or that it includes sport karate or whatever. These people are usually rather opinionated, rather suffer from tunnel vision, and their view of karate is that it can only be exactly one precise thing. And the funny thing is that karate was never one precise thing anyway. I mean, karate as we know it has only been around since 1936, which is when it was actually called karate. Before that it was Tai or Tang Hand or whatever. It was a formulation of different arts that came from Okinawa, but it's been in complete flux ever since it was first created. So, for these traditionalists to tell you exactly how karate should be practiced, how karate should be run, how the dojo should be run, in what ways you should train. Look, even going back to early 1900s and before, there were many different schools of thought and training methodologies. There were some who believed that it was all about movement. There were some that believed it was about conditioning. There were some that believed it's about getting in first and intercepting before anybody gets a start. There were some that believed it had to have throws and grappling in. There were others who believed that kicks were more important. So there have always been different philosophies of fighting arts. And even if you just look at the almost the diametric opposition of philosophy between karate and kung fu, it's clear that there's no one philosophy that fits all, or one philosophy which is universally true. So for people to look back and say, well, it has to be traditional, it has to be like this, I think they're being they're kind of looking through things with their own rose-tinted glasses and rather cherry-picking which part of the tradition they actually look at. I mean, if you look at the nature of one-on-one combat, I guess it hasn't much changed over 2,000 years. I mean, it's still two arms, two legs. People punch, people shove, people pull. But the nature of the situation, the background against which they are practiced, and also the nature of mankind's understanding has changed dramatically. So, in the old days, the methodology to learn to fight might have been to do 10,000 punches, and nowadays modern sports science might recognise that that's not the optimum way to learn. That 10,000 identical punches hitting a makiwara board or building up and hitting trees or whatever, is not the best way to develop lethal effectiveness, because it maybe destroys your bones in the long run, or it creates repetition injuries or whatever. And modern sports science, I'm fairly sure that if you look, modern sports science for, say, training of UFC fighters, for example, has immeasurably superior to the old methodologies used in Okinawa or China, 600-700 years ago. So to talk about traditionalism as if anything traditional must be a good thing, I think is rather myopic, to be honest. It's it's like looking at transport and saying, well, if you're not in a horse and carriage, then it's not traditional. It's not a good thing. And I think, well, yeah, but you move with the times. You don't get caught in some teary-eyed adherence to the past where you're afraid to move on. And one of the things I like about a lot of modern karate styles is that they do progress with the times, that they use better warm-ups, and they understand the way the body works better, and they can incorporate better diets and better training regimes to ensure that you're fitter, faster, stronger and healthier. So when people talk about traditional karate, and I realise that often they talk about the core essence of the training, the fighting side of it primarily, even that, there are better ways of doing things now, and not only that, but people's lifestyles have changed. You may not like to hear it, but the fact is that in the olden days, where people might have trained 3 or 4 hours a day, modern people don't have time for that, you know. And you know, in 100 years ago, there was no internet, there was no TV, there was no iPods or anything. So there was little else to occupy your time. So it was fine to fit in a lot of training after you finish your day's work. But nowadays there are a million different things competing for your time, and the fact is that almost everybody is unwilling to devote the amount of time to karate that they used to. Now you might just say, well, in that case then they shouldn't do karate, but you know, who the hell are you to say that how people should enjoy karate? Some people enjoy karate for the fitness, some people do it to build their self-esteem, some do it to build their confidence, and some people do it to develop self-defense. But the truth of it is that that's only a percentage of the reason why now people practice karate. You know, not everybody is training because they feel a desperate need to become some lethal avenger who can defend himself against anybody. You know, a lot of people just yeah, you know, they're happy if they get reasonable competence in fighting. But you know, there are other benefits to karate, even social. You know, so you know, karate has moved on, and I respect those of you who want to practice it in a very traditional way, and that's for you to do. But personally, I'm happy with the way the modern karate's gone. I think it's improved considerably over where it was in the past, and you know, for me, that's I don't know. Before I go, actually, so I made notes. I've got a terrible memory, so I had some other things I wanted to talk about. It's worth noting that the average person 200 years ago had a much shorter life. Even 100 years ago had a much shorter lifestyle than the average modern person. I think our average lifespan now is between 75 and 80 years. And probably 200 years ago it was 40 to 50 years. So you know, when you train, you need to train in a way which protects your body, because you don't want to be old and useless by the time you're 40 and you can't move. And even now I notice very often that people have ruined joints, knees and backs from training in bad ways. But hopefully modern sports science is eliminating that more and more. Also, before I go, one of the fundamental aspects of Japanese culture is the concept of kaizen. That's constant and never-ending improvement. And why should it be that we seek constant and never-ending improvement in our karate, but we don't seek it in the art itself? You know, why should the art be set in stone, but the individual practitioners constantly move forwards? You take care, guys.